What is up, guys? This is Damon, coach of the Cincinnati Regigius, bringing you my draft recap for the ISL Season 3, yada yada yada. Alright, so first things first, I am back, and I plan to stay this time. You may have noticed that videos have been declining on this channel. You should have noticed. Part of that is due to me being lazy, but the real reason I stopped recording is because I think I play better when I don't record live. And you didn't see everything I recorded, but I felt like when I was recording live, I was a little bit distracted by trying to entertain, trying to provide the commentary, trying to give insight into my decisions, and I missed a few key details. So I had some pretty devastating losses while recording live. And near the end of the season, I stopped recording live, and I got some pretty clutch wins, got us into the playoffs, second season in a row. So from now on, I'm going to try and do post commentary, and of course, you'll see team builders. I'll have one of those going up later this week. First round matchup is once again versus Boo, the San Francisco 49 Tails, but I can get into that later. Right now is the time to discuss my draft. So you can see on your screen, nice little layout I have going on. We have Jackie Chan, the Mega Lopunny. This isn't in order of picking, by the way, but this is just kind of going through. I'm going to start with my offensive cores. I actually did end up picking Mega Lopunny first, but like you can see by the stats, 136 attack, 135 speed. This thing's an absolute monster. With Scrappy, there is no mon in the game that resists its dual stab. It's absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't get the best coverage, but with Ice Punch and Dream Punch, I can basically just run through anything. No one's gonna wall this. Like, Boo has a crest. It's gonna get like 3 code by return. There's nothing anyone can do to stop this thing. It's an absolute beast. I love it. Um, it's got a nice bit of bulk to it. A lot of people underestimate it, but 90 in each defense is pretty good. Probably not gonna run any stupid sets with it. Probably just gonna be straight up send this thing in and sweep. Uh, Last season, as you guys may have noticed from my platinum style, Victini was kind of the win condition for most of my matches. And this season, I'm going to try and make that win condition Mega Lopunny just because I think it's a lot safer. It'll outspeed a lot more things. It'll hit a lot of things really hard. I don't need to worry about scarfing it. I don't need to worry about like outspeeding things or getting outsped. I can just come in and destroy something. Yeah, that pretty much wraps that up. So my next offensive mon will be the return of Victini, and I did draft this last season, but I felt like it was time to make a return. You can see it pop up on your screen there. Well, dancing Victini. Um, Ability isn't much to talk about. It's got perfect 100 stats, and I felt like by drafting again this season, I want to show that I know how to use it correctly. I feel like last season there was a lot of pressure put on it to be the crux of my team, the carry, the sweeper, the one who got all the kills, and I felt like that kind of makes it a little bit like that takes away from its use. It's a bulky mon. It's supposed to come in and take hits. It's supposed to deal massive damage with V Creator, Blue Flare, or any of the other amazing coverage moves it gets. Did I mention it gets coverage? It gets coverage for everything. With these base 100 stats, it can hit pretty much everything and take any hit in return. It's just an amazing mod, and I feel like by not putting it in the carry role, by not putting it in the win condition role, I'm going to be able to use it a lot more effectively. I'm going to be able to, I'll be able to actually send it in and not worry about it dying early, like, if it needs to get a kill. So, for example, if there's something 4 times weak to fire, I don't need to worry about saving this thing, because I have Mega Lopunny with Fire Punch in case I needed Victini for something else. I honestly think that's what's going to make it a lot better, and 100 speed is nothing to laugh at, but I also don't feel like I'm going to need to scarf it as much just because I have a lot of speed. And another thing I love about Victini is its versatility. You can run it special and physical, and it's got some decent bulk. A lot of people underestimate that 100 all-around bulk. But with Will-O-Wisp, it can really do a number to certain things. Like, Bisharp, it can't, like, a Bisharp going for Sucker Punch is going to get hit by my Will-O-Wisp, like, and there's nothing I can do about that. All of a sudden, it's burned Bisharp, and it's almost useless. And Mega Lopunny can come in and clean up. And that's my entire strategy this season. Like, it all pretty much revolves around Mega Lopunny getting in and sweeping. And I even have some backups. Like, Victini is still a viable late-game sweeper. It's still a viable early-game sweeper, honestly. So, that's all I have to say about Victini. We're going to move on. Next up is another returning member from later in the season, Dignified Tornadus Eye. You can see that pop up on your screen there. I needed fast special attack, and there wasn't anything in the higher tiers that I wanted, so I decided to go for Tornadus Eye, a real steal in rank B, otherwise known as Tier 3. You can see it's got 111 speed, just outspeeding base 110s, which in League format is absolutely amazing because you see so many 110s, and being able to outspeed that safely without a scarf or knowing that you're in a speed tie is absolutely amazing. This is another very versatile mod. It can be run both physical and special. It's got a great plethora of moves, including Superpower, Knockoff, Air Slash, Thunderbolt. I think that has Thunderbolt. I know it has Sludge Bomb and Dark Pulse. The bulk isn't bad. Base 70 special defense is actually going to be able to take a hit. It's not really here to do much. Just going to be a strong special attacker. Get some speed on the team. There's not a whole lot to be said about it. The coverage, again, is really good. And I really like this 3 offensive core because basically I can hit anything. And I can kill anything. Like, I can ban Victini or Specs it to break through anything. I can Specs this thing if I want to. Yeah. Also, something I should mention before moving on, you can see nicknames in the top left of the screen. If you have a better nickname for some mods, I am not entirely set on these nicknames. If you have a better nickname, please leave a comment down below suggesting it, and you just may see one of your nicknames in a battle. But next up is a very coveted mod in League format, Nidoking. And some of you may be asking, why not Nidoqueen? I like the extra power in Nidoking. A lot of people like the extra bulk. I like the extra power. I have the bulk in Victini. I feel like this extra power is going to allow me to OHKO some more bulky attackers. This thing is another thing that has great coverage. It can be run mixed as well with that. Sheer Force is a lot of damage from a special attack pointing standpoint. It actually boosts that up to even stronger than the Earthquake, but I can still run Earthquake if I need a physical hitter. And yeah, Poison and Ground type, very, very good type combination. It's got some solid resistances to switch in on. Also got some pretty common weaknesses, such as water. You can see Victini is also weak to water, no one resist, but we'll get into covering weaknesses once I get into my defensive core. Right now, it's all about just hitting hard and hitting strong. 81, 77, 75 bulk is pretty good. 85 speed means I can scarf it pretty well, and it'll also outspeed some bulky attackers. I don't even need to scarf it. Like, it's got enough to take a hit. I could put an assault vest on it if I want, make it take a hit even better. It's got superpower as well. It's got things such as flamethrower, ice beam, thunderbolt, earth power. Just great coverage all around. And like these 4 mons right here, honestly, they have coverage for everything. And like even just like any 3 of these have coverage for anything. I'm really happy with the way my offensive core worked out, and you'll see why I'm so happy about that once we get in later. But next up is our fairy type, and a lot of you won't recognize the nicknames from Smite, Chonga, but Gardevoir, the fairy type, just here because of the fairy type. The fairy type I wanted was Florges, and I did not get that due to a certain jerk named Hayden, who picked it 2nd round, but we're going to end up with Gardevoir here. Not a bad mon, I used it in Season 1. 125 special attack is pretty big. It doesn't have the greatest abilities, but Synchronize and Trace can really throw some certain things for a loop. And if I can trace something like, say, a Sheer Force from Nidoqueen, I can actually do a lot of damage with something like a Moonblast. And a lot of people say that Gardevoir isn't very good because you can't run Hyper Voice. I don't see the problem. I got about 7 or 8 kills with this in Season 1. It's got pretty good bulk and 115 special defense. I can run it a little bit specially bulky, but I feel like I'm going to be running it more offensive role, which is why it's in the offensive side of my team. 65 attack and defense is, I'm not going to lie, atrocious. So I'm not going to be taking many physical hits, but it can take Focus Blast like a champ. 4 times resist those. So I honestly don't see myself using this much, but if I need a fairy type, Gardevoir is always here to support me. 80 speed is okay. Got some good bulk. I can Wish Pass if I need it to. There's not a whole lot to be said about it. Just that it's got great coverage. It's going to be returning from Season 1. We'll see if it can keep up the performance. Next up, I'm going to continue my trend of drafting a Rotom form every season. Rotom Cut, known as Lawnmower, pretty crappy nickname. Please, leave a suggestion. Please, I need it. But I also wanted a grass type, and originally my grass type was going to be Chestnut, also sniped by the lovely Hayden Bush. So, yeah, this thing's a Rotom form. I think we all know how good Rotom forms are. 50 HP kind of lets it up, but 107 in each defense, along with a 105 special attack, is absolutely insane in League format. 86 speed allows it to be scarfed efficiently, and it can also be run pretty well as a bulky set with Plane Split. They'll get Volt Switch. This one gets Leaf Storm as its exclusive move, and it can. Grass is a very good offensive type. Not a lot of things resist it. Especially not a lot of walls resist it. A lot of walls are more kind of aimed at resisting the common fighting the fighting types, the fire types, the electric types, the water types. Not a lot resist grass. And electricity, just in the volt switch, is really good. I love having volt switchers on the team. It just helps get stuff in. It helps me get in. It can help me get in Nidoqueen safely. It can help me get in Tornadoes safely. It can help me get in Lopunny safely. Could help me get anything in safely. Honestly, it can be run pretty bulky as well, and that's another reason why I love drafting Ronin forms, just because they have a lot of natural bulk to them, and they can take a lot of hits over the process of a match, especially if you build them tanky. They don't always need all the special offense. They can just be there as basically a volt switcher, which is honestly what I see myself using this thing as most. So that's all our strictly offensive mons. Next up, we're going to move into the broken part of the draft, the defensive core. You can see a little bit of a thing on your screen, but fix that up. There we go. Goopy the Goodra. You could slightly see everything else, but Goodra, bottom right of your screen, top left if you want to look up there. Sap, Sipper, and Gooey. Gooey is really good because it can take a physical hit. Not too well because the defense kind of lets it up, but if it does, it'll slow them down, so you can't always just knock off. It has really good coverage for a bulky mon, surprisingly. Like, it has things such as Power Whip, Thunderbolt, Flamethrower, Dragon Pulse, Earth Power, I believe. And it hits pretty hard with a 110 special attack. Like, people underestimate this thing. It's a really good counter wall because it can, like, it doesn't have any reliable recovery, and that's one thing that I'm really kind of upset about. But just the natural bulk is insane. I can Wish Pass from Gardevoir if I need to, and kind of complete a Fairy Dragon Steel Corn. You'll see who my Steel type is in a while. But there's not a whole lot to be said about it. Again, it's just got great coverage, great bulk. I need to use it as a bulky thing, and you'll see why later on. But I don't have a whole lot of, like, dedicated bulk. So having this thing here to just be able to take hits occasionally is wonderful. And it can force a lot of switches with its coverage. People underestimate it a lot. And we'll see if they wisen up this season, but it's a really powerful mon. And now, as I stated, I wanted Forgus and Chestnut to be my defensive core, and I got neither of those, both sniped by the lovely, lovely Hayden Brush. Love him. Yeah, so you have Slowking. And, yep. So with that out of the way, it's a pretty bulky special defensive mon. Regenerator is amazing. It's, like, one of the best abilities for defensive mons. It makes, like, you can switch out and basically almost get a free recover off. Also, this thing does have recover. It has Scald for burns. I can set up Calm Minds if I need to. It's got pretty decent bulk. The speed is good. The speed is actually pretty good to me because it's, like, I can outspeed things under Trick Room. And it can hit pretty hard. Like, if it sets up Calm Minds, it can like, destroy things. It can destroy teams, and the natural bulk just allows it to set up those Calm Minds almost for free against certain defensive mons. It's got reliable recovery and slack off. I think I said recover earlier, but I meant slack off. And Regenerator is amazing, like I said before. On a third Psychic type, not a huge fan of that, but honestly I don't think I need to worry about too many Ghosts and Dark types, because you can see the big old Mega there. Mega Lopunny just gonna high jump kick its way through teams. So this was sort of my backup for Forgus. We had 16 people in the draft, and a lot of things got sniped from a lot of different people, and I'm not really going to waste too much time on it, but this was really the best option available, at least in my mind, at that point in the draft. I don't remember what else I was considering. But next up is going to be our dedicated physical wall, Clamper the Gligar. And this was another stipe. Actually, the turn right before me, I was going to go for Gliscor and rare with Gligar, and it's not horrible. Eviolite gives it better bulk than Gliscor, but it also kind of limits it, because Gliscor's better recovery. This thing does still have reliable recovery in Roost. It has Stealth Rocks, it has Defog, I believe it has Whirlwind, really good bulk. It still hits kind of hard with Earthquake, and it doesn't run the Poison ability. Poison Heal is what it's called. It doesn't run that, so it can run things such as Hyper Cutter, and actually be able to carry Stealth Rocks and Defog at the same time. This thing is the main defogger, and a lot of people are going to bang me for this, only having one real main dedicated defogger, but honestly, I don't see it as a problem for my team. It's not really all that weak to Stealth Rocks, only two main things that get hit hard. And yeah, I mean, it's there. I wish I had something better, but this is what I have for the time being. I am going to be looking for trade, so if you want a Gligar, hit me up, but right now we are with Clamper just kind of floating there, and I'm still pretty happy with it. Gligar's a fantastic mon. A lot of people underestimate it. Um, a lot of things on my team are underestimated, and I think that's why I really like this draft. Is because it doesn't seem all that very powerful, and then you start looking in depth at the mons, and you realize there's no real way to counter it. But next up is that Steel type that completes the Steel Fairy core, Escavalier. Now, originally I wanted this in an offensive role. As you can see by that massive 135 attack, it would be an amazing bulky attacker. Assault Vest is amazing, it's got pretty good coverage, and it hits extremely hard. But looking at my team, I think I've kind of decided to use it in a more defensive role with the steel typing to just kind of tank hits a little bit better. Come in, tank some hits, do a little bit of damage back. There's not a whole lot to be said about it, honestly. It's got some really good bulk. Assault Vest sets are super common, and I think it'll be pretty common for me as well, just to kind of bolster that defense. But it hits really hard. The 20 speed is pretty good as well. Like, a lot of people are like, no, it's so slow, it's worthless. But I like being able to outspeed things in Trick Room. I like having counters to Trick Room. It's just kind of like a failsafe, and you'll see in my team builder, Boo has a Cresselia and a Mega Camera Up, so having this thing to outslow a Camera Up can be pretty important. But doesn't get the greatest coverage. It's honestly just got really good typing. Steel Bug is an amazing typing, by the way, only weak to fire. And you can see I've got some pretty good resistances to fire in Goodra, Victini, Nidoking. Does Nidoking resist fire? I feel like it should. Whatever. It's not important. But we're going to go to the final mon of my draft. Avalanche, nicknamed Isolanche. You can see it pop up in the middle of the screen there. Originally, I wanted Mismagius from Tier 5, but when my defensive core got sniped, I had to look for more of a defensive draft, and so I took a lot of bulky mons, as you can see. And Avalugg just seemed like a good pick to me. It has atrocious special defense, but that physical defense is absolutely amazing. It has access to Curse, Rapid Spin, Recover, Hail. It can do some interesting things, and I feel like I'm not going to bring it all that often, but I can use it to catch some people by surprise. I can use it to, like, look at it. I don't even have any investment. It already has 404 defense. That's better than some physically defensive mons with investment. That's better than Rotom with physical investment. That's absolutely ridiculous. It means I can run special defense that Liv hits a little bit better. It means I can run attack if I want to hit things hard. Avalanche will hit like a truck from this thing. And again, it'll outspeed a lot of things in Trick Room. I don't really have anything to set up Trick Room, but Slowbro can set it up if I need to. I honestly don't think I'll run it. I think it'll just kind of be there to counter Trick Room, but that's gonna end my team. Just for the recap, we have Mega Lopunny, Victini, Tornadus Eye, Nidoking, Gardevoir, and Rotom Cut in the offensive roles, and we have Goodra, Gligar, Slowking, Escavalier, and Avalugg in the defensive roles. That's gonna end our Season 3 team recap. I should have a team builder up for Boo later this week. I'll also probably have some sort of like team summary in there. But yeah, just to recap what I said in the beginning, I'm going to be post-recording now, I think. Going over replays, trying to think about what I could have done better, and also explain my plays a little bit better. And yeah, hopefully I'll be able to consistently put out videos this season, and I'll be able to make it once again to the playoffs, and maybe don't lose first round this time. We can always hope. But that's going to end my draft recap. This is Damon. This has been Damon. Well, I mean, it's still going to be Damon, but I'm not good at ending things. Bye.